Right now, everything you believe about success is a lie. You work harder, you sacrifice nights and weekends, you beg permission from budgets, and your bank account remains a stubborn echo of the life you were told to accept. What if one mental pivot, the same principle Napoleon Hill mapped out as the engine of wealth, reorganizes cause and effect so that your actions begin to magnetize money instead of wasting it? Napoleon Hill decoded the pattern. History answered, the greats thought like owners, spoke like creators, and watched fortune hurry to their door. Decide now. Think like this, and your bank account will not trickle. It will explode. By law, by faith, and by your intent. Stop. Listen with your entire being. For if you miss what I am about to reveal, you may walk through the remainder of your life as a beggar when you were born to command wealth itself. You have been taught to wait. Wait for promotion. Wait for the right time. Wait for courage to arrive like some distant relative. That waiting is your prison. That hesitation is the thief of your inheritance. And I am here to shatter that lie with a truth so fundamental that once you grasp it, your bank account will have no choice but to reflect your inner transformation. The law that governs all wealth, all position, all power is this: dominant thought directed becomes material reality. Think with precision, believe with emotion, act with persistence. This is not philosophy. This is the mechanical formula by which every fortune has been built. Thought is action. Belief is command. Obedience to these commands generates ownership. But let me be clear about what lies ahead. This is not entertainment. This is instruction. In the next hour, you will receive 6 movements of transformation. Movement 1, definite purpose. 2, how scattered thinking guarantees poverty and focused intention commands wealth. Movement 2, applied faith. UTF, how repetition with emotion converts hope into certainty. Movement 3, systematic proof. CHAPS, how microsystems turn conviction into contagious evidence. Movement 4, Mastermind Alliance. 7, how aligned minds multiply intelligence and capital exponentially. Movement 5, Ritual Work. UMM, how daily habits become the machinery of fortune. Movement 6, Self-Governance and Judgment. UMM, how emotional mastery creates the authority that money obeys. And here is my promise to you: stay until the end, because in Movement 6, you will receive the 11 mirror lines that wealthy men speak to themselves each morning, plus the exact 306090-day ritual that converts thought into bank deposits. Miss this, and you miss the mechanism itself. But understand this now. I do not speak to entertain your mind. I speak to awaken your will. For you have within you the power to call forth riches, position, greatness, and command over your conditions, but only if you first seize control over the thing that controls everything else, your mind. Are you prepared to think like a man who owns what he desires? Are you ready to stop being a victim of circumstance and become the architect of your fortune? Then, let us begin. Number Movement 1, definite purpose, the precision that commands wealth. Without a definite purpose, your thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind, and scattered thinking guarantees scattered results. Wealth responds only to precise intention. Money flows toward the mind that knows exactly what it wants, exactly when it wants it, and exactly what it will give in return. Most men carry wishes, not purposes. They hope for more income, better conditions, eventual freedom. But hope without definition is powerless. It creates no magnetic pull. It generates no organized effort. It commands nothing from the universe, and so the universe gives nothing in return. Listen to this truth. Your subconscious mind, the silent builder of your circumstances, cannot work with vague instructions. If you tell it, "I want to be rich," it receives no blueprint. If you declare, "I want more money," it has no target. But if you command, "I will earn $50,000 within 12 months by creating and marketing a digital course that serves entrepreneurs," now your inner machinery has direction. Henry Ford understood this law. When he conceived the V8 engine, he did not wish for a better motor. He defined it precisely: 8 cylinders, specific horsepower, exact cost reduction per unit, total market domination. His engineers told him it was impossible. He told them to build it anyway. Why? Because his purpose was definite, his vision was clear, and his mind refused to accept alternatives. The result? The V8 engine revolutionized transportation and made Ford the wealthiest man of his era. Not because he was the smartest engineer, but because he was the most definite thinker. Your definite purpose must be written. Not typed, not thought, but written by hand in clear present tense language. I am earning, not I will earn. I now possess, not I hope to possess. Your subconscious mind accepts only commands given in the present moment. Here is your first command. Today, before you sleep, you will write your definite chief aim in one powerful sentence. You will read it aloud 3 times upon waking and 3 times before retiring. You will speak it with emotion, with conviction, with the authority of a man who already owns what he seeks. Declare with me now, I command a purpose and the world redesigns itself to match my intention. Say it again. Feel the words in your chest. Let them resonate in your bones, for the universe responds not to the timid whisper of the hopeful, but to the clear declaration of the definite. But here is what most men miss. A purpose without emotional fuel remains dormant. You must feel the reality of your aim before the world can see it. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself already in possession of your goal. See the bank statement. Feel the weight of achievement. Hear the congratulations. Taste the freedom. This is not fantasy. This is programming. You are installing instructions into the operating system of your subconscious mind. Now, let me share something profound. Every great fortune began as a thought in the mind of one person. The steel empire of Andrew Carnegie, the automotive dynasty of Henry Ford, the oil empire of John D. Rockefeller. Each started as a definite purpose burning in the consciousness of a man who refused to accept mediocrity. But what separated these men from the millions who live and die in financial servitude? They converted their thoughts into obsessions. They fed their purpose daily until it consumed their doubt. They spoke their aims until speaking them felt as natural as breathing. They acted as if success was inevitable because, in their minds, it already was. You must do the same. Your definite purpose must become the dominant thought in your mind. It must be the first thing you think upon waking and the last thing you contemplate before sleep. It must guide every decision, every conversation, every use of your time. Ask yourself now, what is the exact amount of money you desire? When specifically do you intend to possess it? What service will you render in return for this wealth? If you cannot answer these questions with precision, you have a wish, not a purpose, and wishes create nothing but disappointment. I will tell you something else. The man with a definite purpose moves with a confidence that others can feel. Opportunities present themselves to him because his clear intention acts like a magnet, drawing circumstances, people, and resources into his path. The universe conspires to assist the man who knows exactly where he is going, but the man without purpose drifts. He reacts instead of creating. He responds to life instead of commanding it. He becomes a leaf blown by every wind, never arriving anywhere because he never decided where he wanted to go. Which men are? You, the drifter, or the director, the reactor, or the creator? The decision you make right now will determine whether you spend the next decade building wealth or watching others build theirs. Speak this creed with authority. I do not wait for freedom. I build it now. Let those words burn into your consciousness. For waiting is the enemy of wealth, and action, guided by definite purpose, is its creator. But purpose alone, no matter how definite, remains powerless without the fuel that transforms intention into reality. That fuel is faith, not the passive hope of the wishful, but the applied faith of the certain. And in movement 2, you will learn how to manufacture this faith through the scientific application of repetition and emotion. For now, remember this: your thoughts are the raw material of your fortune. But only when those thoughts are organized around a definite purpose do they gain the power to create wealth. The universe is waiting for your command. Give it clearly, give it definitely, and give it now. Number, movement 2, applied faith, the fuel that converts dreams into dollars. Faith is not something you feel. Faith is something you do. It is not a passive hope that things will work out. It is the active practice of thinking, speaking, and acting as if your desired outcome is already guaranteed. Faith is the bridge between your present circumstances and your intended destination. And like any bridge, it must be built with precision, maintained with consistency, and crossed with courage. In Think and Grow Rich, I taught that faith is a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. This is the vital key that most men miss. Faith is not given to you by some external force. You manufacture it through what you think, what you speak, and what you repeat. Faith is manufactured, not inherited. It is built, not bestowed. Your subconscious mind, being without the power of reason, accepts whatever you feed it through repetition and emotion. If you repeatedly think thoughts of doubt, failure, and limitation, your subconscious will accept these as commands and work to make them real. But if you repeatedly think thoughts of success, abundance, and achievement, your subconscious will accept these instead and begin to attract circumstances that match your dominant mental picture. This is why Thomas Edison could attempt the electric light bulb 10,000 times without accepting defeat. Each so-called failure only strengthened his faith, because he understood that faith is built through repetition, not through immediate results. He saw each attempt not as evidence that it couldn't be done, but as proof that he was one step closer to the solution. Edison practiced what I call applied faith. Every morning he would speak aloud his intention to bring light to the world. He would visualize homes and cities illuminated by his invention. He would feel the satisfaction of success before the world ever saw a working bulb. This was not fantasy. This was programming. He was conditioning his subconscious mind to accept success as inevitable. You must do the same with your financial goals. Every morning, you must speak your definite purpose aloud with emotion. Not once, not casually, but with the intensity of a man whose life depends on it. Because it does. Your financial life depends entirely on the thoughts that dominate your mind, and the thoughts that dominate your mind are determined by what you repeatedly feed it. Here is your practice. For the next 30 days, you will speak your definite purpose aloud 11 times each morning. Not 10, not 12, but 11. Why 11? Because odd numbers penetrate the subconscious more effectively than even numbers. You will speak with emotion, with conviction, with the tone of a man who already possesses what he seeks. But speaking alone is not enough. You must also feel. Emotion is the element that gives life to thought. A thought without emotion is lifeless, but a thought backed by powerful emotion becomes a burning desire that your subconscious cannot ignore. When John D. Rockefeller was building his oil empire, he would spend hours each day visualizing his success. He would see his refineries operating smoothly, his oil flowing to markets around the world, his wealth growing exponentially. But he didn't just see these images, he felt them. He felt the satisfaction of achievement, the pride of accomplishment, the security of wealth. This emotional component transformed his thoughts from mere wishes into irresistible commands. This is what you must understand. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you combine clear mental images with powerful emotions, your subconscious accepts this as reality and begins to work 24 hours a day to make the outer world match the inner picture. Declare with me now: I plant understanding and reap gold. I command wealth through wisdom. Feel those words resonate through your entire being. For you are not merely hoping for wealth. You are commanding it through the scientific application of thought, emotion, and repetition. But let me warn you of the thieves that steal faith before it can mature into results. Doubt is the first thief. It enters your mind through the opinions of others, through past failures, through present circumstances. The moment you entertain doubt, you interrupt the flow of faith. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot believe and doubt simultaneously. You must choose. Fear is the second thief. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of poverty. These fears, when allowed to dominate your thinking, paralyze your faith and prevent action. But fear is nothing more than faith in reverse. It is faith in failure instead of faith in success. And since your subconscious responds to whatever you have faith in, fear will create the very conditions you fear most. The third thief is procrastination. The man who says, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I need to think about it more," has already surrendered his faith to delay. Faith demands immediate action. It cannot survive in the atmosphere of postponement. The universe responds to the man who acts on his faith, not the man who thinks about acting. How do you guard against these thieves? Through the discipline of daily mental conditioning. Every morning, you flood your mind with thoughts of success, abundance, and achievement. You speak your goals with emotion. You visualize your success with feeling. You act as if your desires are already fulfilled. And every evening, you review your day through the lens of faith. What actions did you take that moved you closer to your goal? What thoughts did you think that supported your success? What emotions did you feel that strengthened your faith? This evening review reinforces the positive and eliminates the negative. Here is a truth that will transform your relationship with money. You must act your way into feeling, not feel your way into acting. Do not wait to feel confident before you act with confidence. Act with confidence and the feeling will follow. Do not wait to feel wealthy before you think wealthy thoughts. Think wealthy thoughts and the feeling of wealth will develop. Charles M. Schwab, who became one of the wealthiest men in America, understood this principle. When he was still earning a modest salary, he began thinking, speaking, and acting like a millionaire. He carried himself with the posture of success. He spoke with the authority of wealth. He made decisions with the confidence of a man who commanded vast resources. This was not pretense, this was preparation. He was programming his subconscious mind to accept wealth as natural and inevitable. The result? His wealthy thinking attracted the attention of Andrew Carnegie, who recognized in Schwab the mental qualities of a successful man. Carnegie promoted him, invested in him, and eventually made him wealthy beyond imagination. But the wealth came after the wealthy thinking, not before it. This is your assignment. Begin immediately to think, speak, and act like the wealthy man you intend to become. Walk with the posture of success. Speak with the confidence of achievement. Make decisions with the authority of a man who commands resources. Do this not after you become wealthy, but as the means by which you become wealthy. Repeat this creed. I command wealth by wisdom. Each thought I think creates my fortune, but faith without works is dead. You can think and speak and visualize all you want, but without corresponding action, your faith remains sterile. In Movement 3, you will learn how to convert your faith into systematic proof through microsystems that demonstrate your growing power over circumstances. For faith must be proven to yourself before it can manifest in your bank account. Number, Movement 3. Systematic proof. How microsystems convert faith into fortune. Faith without evidence remains vulnerable to doubt, but faith backed by systematic proof becomes unshakable conviction. This is why you must create what I call microsystems. Small, measurable experiments that prove to yourself and to the world that you possess the power to convert thought into reality. Each small victory strengthens your faith. Each systematic success builds your confidence. Each proven result moves you closer to your ultimate goal. Most men fail because they attempt to leap from poverty to wealth in a single bound. But wealth is built systematically, one proven principle at a time, one successful system at a time, one measured result at a time. The man who can systematically create $10 can systematically create 100. The man who can systematically create 100 can systematically create 1,000. And so on, until wealth becomes as natural as breathing. Andrew Carnegie understood this principle profoundly. He did not build his steel empire overnight. He built it system by system, process by process, proof by proof. He started with one furnace, perfected its operation, measured its output, and created a system that could be replicated. Then he built a second furnace, and a third, and a fourth. Each success proved the soundness of his method. Each proof strengthened his faith. Each strengthened faith attracted more resources. This is what you must understand. The universe responds to demonstrated competence, not to wishful thinking. When you can prove that you can systematically create results on a small scale, the universe provides you with resources to create results on a larger scale. But the proof must come first. Here is your systematic approach. Within the next 7 days, you will create one experiment designed to generate income. Not a massive business venture, not a complex system, but one simple experiment that tests your ability to convert value into money. This might be selling a service, creating a product, teaching a skill, or solving a problem for someone willing to pay. The amount you earn matters less than the fact that you earn it systematically. Whether you generate $10 or $100, you are proving to yourself that you possess the power to create wealth on demand. You are building the mental muscle of systematic success. But here is the crucial element. You must measure everything. How many people did you contact? How many responded? How many bought? What was your conversion rate? What was your profit margin? How much time did you invest? What was your hourly return? These measurements are not mere numbers. They are proof of your growing competence. They are evidence of your developing power. Why is measurement so important? Because what you measure, you can improve. What you improve, you can multiply. What you can multiply, you can scale into wealth. Every wealthy man I have studied was, first and foremost, a measuring man. He measured his efforts, his results, his progress, his 2-4 failures. And through measurement, he gained the knowledge necessary to improve his systems. John D. Rockefeller measured everything in his oil business. He knew the exact cost of refining each barrel of oil, the precise profit margin on each gallon sold, the specific efficiency of each refinery worker. This systematic measurement allowed him to optimize every aspect of his operation. Where others saw a chaotic business, he saw measurable processes that could be improved and systematized. This systematic approach had a profound psychological effect on Rockefeller. Each improvement he measured increased his confidence. Each measured success strengthened his faith. Each strengthened faith attracted better people, better opportunities, better resources. The system fed itself, growing larger and more powerful with each cycle. You must create the same systematic feedback loop in your own financial life. Start small. Measure everything, improve constantly, scale systematically. Do not despise small beginnings. Every fortune began with a single dollar earned systematically. Declare with conviction, each action generates results. Each result proves my power. Each proof builds my fortune. Feel the truth of those words penetrate your consciousness. For you are not gambling with luck or hoping for chance. You are systematically building evidence of your competence. You are proving to yourself and to the universe that you possess the power to create wealth on demand. But let me address the voice that whispers in your mind. This seems too simple. Surely building wealth requires more complexity than this. That voice is the enemy of your success. Complexity is the refuge of the confused. Simplicity is the hallmark of mastery. The most powerful systems are always the simplest. They can be understood quickly, implemented immediately, and improved constantly. Henry Ford's assembly line was revolutionary, not because it was complex, but because it was simple. It took a complex process of automobile manufacturing and broke it down into simple, measurable steps. Each step could be measured, improved, and optimized. The result was not just cars, but a systematic method for creating wealth that could be applied to any industry. This is your model. Take your complex goal of building wealth and break it down into simple, measurable steps. Create one income-generating experiment. Measure the results. Improve the process. Scale the success. Repeat until wealth becomes inevitable. Your assignment for the next 30 days, create one systematic proof each week. Week 1, generate income through direct service. Week 2, create a product that solves a problem. Week 3, teach someone a valuable skill for payment. Week 4, optimize and scale your most successful experiment. Measure everything. Record everything. Improve everything. Here is what will happen. As you build these systematic proofs, your confidence will grow. As your confidence grows, your faith will strengthen. As your faith strengthens, your ability to attract resources will increase. As your resources increase, your ability to create larger systematic proofs will expand. The cycle builds upon itself, creating momentum that becomes impossible to stop. But individual effort, no matter how systematic, has limits. To truly scale your success, you need what every wealthy man throughout history has discovered: the multiplying power of the mastermind. In Movement 4, you will learn how to form alliances that multiply your intelligence, your resources, and your ability to create systematic wealth. Remember this truth: every dollar in your bank account represents systematic value creation. Every systematic success proves your growing competence. Every proof builds the unshakable faith that attracts unlimited resources. You are not building a business. You are building systematic evidence of your power to command wealth. And that evidence, once established, becomes the foundation for unlimited expansion. Speak this creed with authority. Each day I act in obedience to my purpose. Each day I prove who I am becoming. Each proof creates the next level of my success. Let those words guide your actions, for you are not hoping for wealth. You are systematically building it, one proof at a time, one system at a time, one measured success at a time. And systematic success, once begun, becomes as natural and inevitable as the sunrise. Movement 4, Mastermind Alliance. How aligned minds multiply wealth exponentially. No man becomes wealthy in isolation. Behind every great fortune stands not one mind, but multiple minds working in perfect harmony toward a common purpose. This is the mastermind principle. When two or more minds are coordinated in a spirit of perfect harmony and directed toward a definite objective, they create a third mind, a mastermind, more powerful than any individual mind working alone. This is not merely cooperation. This is multiplication. One mind plus one mind does not equal two minds. It equals the power of both minds multiplied by their harmony and focused on their shared purpose. This exponential increase in mental power is what transforms ordinary men into extraordinary achievers, modest goals into magnificent fortunes, individual effort into unstoppable momentum. Andrew Carnegie understood this principle better than any man of his era. He surrounded himself not with employees, but with partners, men whose minds were as committed to his success as he was to theirs. Henry Clay Frick in operations, Charles M. Schwab in steel production, Henry Phipps in finance. Each man brought specialized knowledge, unique perspective, and complete dedication to their shared objective, dominating the steel industry. But here is what made Carnegie's mastermind so powerful. These men did not merely work together, they thought together. They met regularly, shared ideas freely, challenged each other's assumptions, and built upon each other's insights. The ideas that emerged from these sessions were beyond what any individual, including Carnegie himself, could have conceived alone. The result? A steel empire that generated more wealth than most nations. Not because Carnegie was the smartest man in steel, but because he understood how to harness the multiplied intelligence of aligned minds. You must create your own mastermind alliance. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but immediately. Within the next 14 days, you will identify and invite 3 to 5 individuals to form a mastermind group with a specific focus: systematic wealth creation. These individuals must share your commitment to growth, your belief in abundance, and your willingness to support each other's success. But choose carefully. The power of the mastermind can work for you or against you. Aligned minds working toward wealth creation multiply your power. But negative minds, doubtful minds, or distracted minds will multiply your confusion. As iron sharpens iron, so does one mind sharpen another. But rust also spreads from iron to iron if left unchecked. Your mastermind meetings will follow this structure: 45 minutes, held weekly, with a fixed agenda. First 15 minutes, each member reports their systematic proof from the previous week. What experiment did they conduct? What results did they measure? What did they learn? This accountability ensures consistent action and shared learning. Second 15 minutes, each member presents their biggest challenge or opportunity. The group applies combined intelligence to solve problems and identify possibilities that no individual could see alone. This is where the multiplication happens. 5 minds focused on one challenge generate solutions beyond the capacity of any single mind. Final 15 minutes. Each member commits to their systematic proof for the coming week. Specific action, measurable outcome, definite timeline. This commitment in front, the rest of the group, creates accountability that ensures consistent progress. But here is the crucial element that most mastermind groups miss: absolute honesty. No pretense, no posturing, no protection of ego. Each member must be willing to share their failures as openly as their successes, their doubts as honestly as their confidence, their challenges as freely as their victories. For it is in this honest sharing that true multiplication occurs. John D. Rockefeller's mastermind included some of the sharpest financial minds in America. But what made their alliance so powerful was not their individual intelligence, but their willingness to challenge each other's thinking. They questioned assumptions, tested strategies, and refined approaches until only the strongest ideas survived. This intellectual rigor created strategies so sound that they generated wealth for decades. Declare with your mastermind: we speak law, we speak belief, we speak what we are becoming. Together, we command resources no individual could attract alone. Feel the power of that collective declaration. For you are no longer operating as an isolated individual hoping for personal success. You are operating as part of an aligned intelligence system focused on multiplying wealth for all members. But let me address a common concern. What if I don't know people who share this vision? What if my current circle doesn't support wealth creation? Then you must expand your circle. Wealthy thinking attracts wealthy people. As you begin to think, speak, and act like a wealthy person, you will naturally attract others who share your vision. Start where you are. Perhaps it's a colleague who expressed interest in side income. Maybe it's a neighbor who mentioned a business idea. Possibly it's someone you meet at a business networking event. The specific people matter less than their commitment to growth and their willingness to support mutual success. If you cannot find local people immediately, create a virtual mastermind. Technology has eliminated geography as a barrier to forming powerful alliances. The key is commitment, consistency, and shared purpose, not physical proximity. Here's what will happen as your mastermind develops. Your individual thinking will expand. Problems that seemed insurmountable will become manageable. Opportunities that were invisible will become obvious. Resources that seemed inaccessible will become available. Why? Because you now have access to multiple perspectives, multiple networks, multiple skill sets, all focused on your mutual success. But the mastermind principle extends beyond your immediate group. Every wealthy person you study becomes a mental member of your mastermind. When you read about how Ford solved a manufacturing problem, you add his thinking to your alliance. When you learn how Rockefeller negotiated a business deal, you incorporate his strategy into your approach. When you discover how Carnegie motivated his team, you adapt his methods to your situation. This is why I wrote Think and Grow Rich, to provide you with access to the mental strategies of the most successful people in history. You can form a mastermind alliance with Edison, Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller, and dozens of other wealthy individuals by studying their methods and applying their principles. Their physical presence is not required. Their mental contribution is available to anyone willing to study and apply their strategies. Your expanded mastermind includes both living allies and historical mentors, both present accountability and proven principles, both current support and timeless wisdom. This combination creates a level of mental power that individual effort cannot match. But alliance without action remains powerless. You can have the most brilliant mastermind in history, but without systematic implementation of your collective insights, you will remain exactly where you are. In Movement 5, you will learn how to convert your mastermind insights into daily rituals that systematically build wealth while you sleep, while you work, while you live. Remember this: no one succeeds alone. Every wealthy person in history understood the multiplication power of aligned minds. Your Mastermind Alliance is not just support for your journey. It is the multiplier that transforms individual effort into exponential results. Speak this creed with conviction. I do not walk alone. I command through alliance. Together we create what none could build in isolation. Let that truth guide your next action. Within 14 days, your mastermind will be formed. Within 30 days, your collective intelligence will be generating opportunities you never could have discovered alone. Within 90 days, your alliance will be creating systematic wealth for all members. This is not optimism. This is the mathematical result of aligned minds working toward shared abundance. Number Movement 5. Ritual work. How daily habits become the machinery of fortune. Talent may get you started, but habit gets you wealthy. The difference between the man who dreams of fortune and the man who builds it is not intelligence, not opportunity, not luck. It is the systematic application of wealth-building rituals practiced daily until they become as automatic as breathing and as natural as sunrise. Your habits are your destiny in slow motion. Every thought you think repeatedly, every action you take consistently, every word you speak habitually is programming your subconscious mind and shaping your circumstances. The poor man has poor habits. The wealthy man has wealthy habits. Change your habits and you change your destiny. It is that simple and it is that profound. Abraham Lincoln understood the power of ritual. While others debated and discussed, Lincoln read law by candlelight every night for years. While others complained about their circumstances, Lincoln practiced speaking in front of his mirror until his words carried the weight of conviction. While others hoped for opportunity, Lincoln prepared systematically until opportunity had no choice but to notice him. His daily rituals were not grand gestures. They were small, consistent actions repeated faithfully until they created the mental and practical foundation for greatness. By the time opportunity arrived, Lincoln was not trying to become ready. He was already prepared. This is your model. Prepare through ritual until success becomes inevitable, not through dramatic effort, but through consistent action. Not through occasional intensity, but through daily discipline. Not through sporadic motivation, but through systematic habit formation. Your wealth-building ritual begins each morning at 5:30, not 6, not when you feel like it, but at 5:30 precisely. Consistency in timing creates consistency in results. Your subconscious mind responds to rhythm, and wealthy minds operate on wealthy rhythms. Here is your morning sequence. First, you stand before your mirror and speak aloud your 11 declarations of wealth. These are not wishes or hopes. They are commands given to your subconscious mind with the authority of a man who already possesses what he declares. You speak each declaration 3 times with emotion, with conviction, with the posture of certainty. After your declarations, you sit in silence for exactly 5 minutes. Not meditation, not prayer, but purposeful silence. This silence allows your declarations to penetrate your subconscious without interference from external noise or internal chatter. This is when the programming takes root. Following your silence, You read your definite chief aim aloud 3 times. You see yourself already in possession of your goal. You feel the emotions of achievement. You taste the satisfaction of success. This visualization programs your subconscious to work 24 hours a day toward making your mental picture a physical reality. But morning ritual without daily action remains sterile. Every day, you must take one specific action designed to generate income. Not plan to take action, not think about taking action, but take actual, measurable action for exactly 30 minutes without interruption. This might be creating content, contacting prospects, developing products, or optimizing systems. The specific action matters less than the consistency of action. Why 30 minutes? Because 30 minutes is manageable enough to maintain daily, yet substantial enough to create momentum. 30 minutes a day equals 15 hours a month. 15 hours of focused income-generating activity per month will, over time, create more wealth than sporadic bursts of intense effort followed by periods of inactivity. Here is what most people miss. Wealth is built through compound consistency, not dramatic effort. The man who works 30 focused minutes every day for a year will accomplish more than the man who works intensely for 1 month and then stops. Consistency compounds, intensity burns out. But ritual without measurement leads nowhere. Every day you measure and record your progress. How much time did you invest in income-generating activity? What specific results did you achieve? What did you learn? What will you improve tomorrow? This daily measurement creates a feedback loop that ensures continuous improvement. John D. Rockefeller measured everything in his personal life, not just his business. He tracked his daily habits, his weekly progress, his monthly achievements. This systematic self-measurement allowed him to optimize not just his business operations, but his personal productivity. He treated his personal development with the same systematic rigor he applied to building his oil empire. Your evening ritual is equally important. Before sleep, you review your day through the lens of progress. What moved you closer to your goal? What moved you away from it? What patterns are serving your success? What patterns are sabotaging it? This evening review programs your subconscious to work on solutions while you sleep. But here is the key that transforms ritual from routine into power. You must track your consistency. Create a simple chart marking each day you complete your full ritual sequence. Your goal is not perfection, but consistency. 70% consistency will create more wealth than sporadic perfectionism. Missing 1 day is a mistake. Missing 2 consecutive days is the beginning of failure. Why does this level of consistency create wealth? Because consistency creates confidence. Confidence creates conviction. Conviction creates action. Action creates results. Results create more confidence. And the cycle accelerates until wealth becomes inevitable. Charles M. Schwab, who earned over $1 million in a single year when most men earned less than 1,000, attributed his success not to natural talent, but to systematic habits. He said, "I have never known a man who achieved permanent success without working harder on himself than he worked on his job." His daily rituals included reading for personal development, planning his priorities, measuring his progress, and improving his systems. These habits, practiced consistently, created the mindset and skills that attracted unlimited opportunities. Your ritual must also include weekly and monthly reviews. Every Sunday, you review your week's progress, adjust your strategies, and plan your upcoming week. Every month, you conduct a deeper review. What systems are working? What approaches need refinement? What new opportunities have emerged? What habits need strengthening? This regular review prevents you from mindlessly repeating ineffective patterns. It ensures that your rituals evolve and improve rather than simply becoming automatic routines that produce the same mediocre results month after month. Declare with commitment, "I command action every day. I command results through consistency. I command wealth through ritual, discipline." Feel the power of that commitment resonate through your entire being. For you are not hoping that someday circumstances will change. You are systematically creating the circumstances you desire through the power of consistent, purposeful action. But let me warn you about the enemies of ritual consistency. The first enemy is the voice that says, "I don't feel like it today." Feelings are the weather of the mind, constantly changing and completely unreliable. The wealthy man does not consult his feelings before acting on his commitments. He acts because he committed, regardless of how he feels. This is what separates the successful from the struggling. The successful act from commitment. The struggling wait for motivation. The second enemy is the seduction of complexity. You will be tempted to add more activities, more steps, more requirements to your ritual. Resist this temptation. A simple ritual practiced consistently will create more wealth than a complex ritual practiced sporadically. Start simple, stay simple, succeed simply. The third enemy is the rationalization of exceptions. Just this once, I'll make it up tomorrow. Special circumstances require special adjustments. There are no special circumstances that justify breaking your wealth-building ritual. Every exception weakens your habit. Every compromise reduces your power. Every rationalization moves you further from your goal. Here is your assignment. Beginning tomorrow, you will implement your full ritual sequence for 30 consecutive days without exception. Mark each completed day on a calendar. At the end of 30 days, you will have transformed from a person who hopes for wealth into a person who systematically creates it. But remember this, ritual without purpose leads to empty repetition. Your daily actions must serve your definite chief aim. Your weekly reviews must advance your systematic progress. Your monthly evaluations must increase your wealth-building capacity. Every element of your ritual must contribute to the ultimate objective, financial independence through systematic value creation. The power of ritual lies not in the individual actions, but in their compound effect over time. One day of focused action creates little noticeable change. 30 days create momentum. 90 days create transformation. 1 year creates a completely different financial reality. This is the mathematics of systematic success. Small actions, consistently applied, create magnificent results. Yet even the most powerful rituals, practiced by the most committed individuals, will fail without the final element that converts consistent action into lasting wealth, the governance of self. In Movement 6, you will learn how mastery over your emotions, your speech, and your decisions creates the inner authority that external wealth obeys. For now, understand this. Your rituals are not just activities you perform. They are the daily practice of becoming the person who naturally attracts and creates wealth. Every morning, ritual reinforces your identity as a wealthy person. Every daily action proves your commitment to that identity. Every evening, review strengthens your conviction that wealth is not just possible but inevitable. Speak this creed with unwavering determination. I am what my daily habits create. I create habits that create wealth. I command my day, and my day creates my destiny. Let those words guide your commitment to the systematic practices that transform ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. For wealth is not an accident, and poverty is not a curse. Both are the inevitable result of daily habits consistently applied over time. Choose your habits wisely, practice them faithfully, and wealth will have no choice but to follow. Movement 6, self-governance and judgment, the inner authority that commands external wealth. Wealth flows toward the man who has first learned to govern himself. Money obeys the person who demonstrates mastery over his emotions, discipline over his appetites, and wisdom in his decisions. But it flees from the man who cannot control his impulses, his speech, or his reactions. This is why many who inherit wealth lose it quickly, while others who start with nothing build fortunes that last for generations. The difference is not in their external circumstances, but in their internal government. Self-governance is not self-denial, it is self-mastery. It is the power to choose your response rather than react from impulse. It is the ability to speak when speech serves your purpose and remain silent when silence advances your cause. It is the wisdom to act when action is required and wait when patience will multiply your results. This internal authority becomes the foundation upon which external authority is built. King Solomon, the wealthiest man in ancient history, did not pray for riches when given the opportunity to ask for anything he desired. He prayed for wisdom to govern well, and because he sought wisdom first, wealth followed naturally. The universe entrusts resources to those who demonstrate the wisdom to use them properly. This is why understanding must precede abundance, judgment must precede wealth, and self-mastery must precede financial mastery. Your journey toward financial independence is simultaneously a journey toward emotional independence. Every time you choose delayed gratification over immediate pleasure, you strengthen your wealth-building capacity. Every time you choose strategic silence over reactive speech, you increase your influence and authority. Every time you choose planned action over impulsive response, you demonstrate the qualities that wealth rewards. But self-governance requires practical application, not philosophical understanding. Here are the daily practices that build the inner authority that external wealth obeys. First, you must master the art of strategic silence. 10 minutes each day, you practice purposeful quiet. Not meditation, not relaxation, but the discipline of holding your tongue when every impulse urges you to speak. This practice builds your capacity to think before you speak, to consider before you commit, to evaluate before you act. Why is this practice so important? Because the man who cannot control his words cannot control his destiny. Your speech reveals your thoughts create your circumstances, and your circumstances determine your wealth. Govern your speech, and you begin to govern your outcomes. Second, you must practice the discipline of burning bridges. Today, you will eliminate one habit, one association, or one activity that moves you away from your wealth-building goal. Not gradually, not eventually, but immediately and completely. This might be ending a toxic relationship, canceling a wasteful subscription, or stopping a destructive habit. The specific bridge matters less than your willingness to burn it completely. Why burn bridges? Because the man who keeps escape routes available to himself will use them when the journey becomes difficult. But the man who eliminates all alternatives except success has no choice but to succeed. Commitment becomes total when retreat becomes impossible. Napoleon Bonaparte understood this principle. When his army landed in enemy territory, he ordered his men to burn their ships. With no way to retreat, his soldiers had no choice but to advance and victory. They fought with the intensity of men who had eliminated every option except success. This is the mindset that creates wealth, total commitment with no alternative except achievement. Third, you must develop the habit of immediate decision followed by persistent action. When opportunities present themselves, you decide quickly and act immediately. When challenges arise, you respond decisively and persistently. The wealthy man is not the one who makes perfect decisions, but the one who makes quick decisions and makes them work through. Persistent effort. Andrew Carnegie made the decision to enter the steel business before he fully understood the steel industry. But once decided, he committed totally to learning everything necessary to succeed. His quick decision gave him a first-mover advantage. His persistent action turned that advantage into dominance. This combination of quick decision and persistent execution is the hallmark of every self-made fortune. But let me address the voice that whispers doubt. What if I make the wrong decision? What if I fail? What if I lose what little I have? These fears reveal a fundamental misunderstanding of how wealth is created. Wealth is not created by avoiding failure, but by learning from it quickly and applying those lessons immediately. The man who never fails never learns. The man who never learns never grows. The man who never grows never becomes wealthy. Every wealthy person has a collection of failures that educated them, setbacks that strengthened them, and mistakes that guided them toward better decisions. Your failures are not evidence that you cannot succeed. They are education that prepares you for success, but only if you learn quickly and apply immediately. Here is your practice of emotional governance. Every day, you face one fear directly. Not recklessly, but strategically. If you fear rejection, Make one request you expect to be denied. If you fear criticism, share one idea you believe others will question. If you fear failure, attempt one thing at which you might not succeed. This daily practice of voluntary discomfort builds your capacity to act in spite of fear rather than waiting for fear to disappear. This practice has a profound effect on your wealth-building capacity. As your tolerance for discomfort increases, your willingness to take calculated risks increases. As your willingness to take risks increases, your opportunities for reward increase. As your opportunities increase, your wealth increases. The man who can act despite discomfort has access to opportunities that the comfort-seeking man never discovers. Thomas Edison practiced this principle throughout his career. He deliberately sought out challenges that others avoided. He tackled problems that had defeated other inventors. He pursued opportunities that required him to learn new skills and master new technologies. This willingness to embrace discomfort positioned him to create inventions that changed the world and generated vast wealth. Your final practice of self-governance is the weekly audit of your time, energy, and attention. Every Sunday, you examine how you invested these precious resources during the previous week. How much time did you spend on wealth-building activities versus entertainment or distraction? How much energy did you direct toward your goals versus dissipation on trivial matters? How much attention did you focus on opportunities versus problems? This weekly audit reveals patterns that support or sabotage your wealth-building efforts. Are you investing your resources like a wealthy person or wasting them like a poor person? Are you building momentum toward your goals or dissipating energy on activities that produce no lasting value? This honest assessment allows you to make course corrections before small inefficiencies become major setbacks. But governance without vision becomes mere self-control. Your self-mastery must serve your wealth-building purpose. Every discipline you develop, every habit you change, every decision you make must advance your definite chief aim. Self-governance is not an end in itself, but the foundation that supports the achievement of your financial goals. Now, the moment you have been waiting for has arrived. You will now receive the 11 mirror lines that wealthy men speak to themselves each morning, plus the exact 306090-day ritual that converts thought into tangible wealth. Asterisk, asterisk, the 11 mirror lines of wealth. Asterisk, asterisk, stand before your mirror each morning and speak these 11 declarations with emotion, conviction, and the authority of a man who already possesses what he declares. 1. I am a wealthy man, and wealth flows to me naturally and abundantly. 2. I provide immense value to others, and I am richly compensated for that value. 3. My mind is focused, my purpose is definite, and my actions create measurable results. 4. I attract opportunities, resources, and people who support my financial success. 5. I make decisions quickly and confidently, and I make those decisions work through persistent action. 6. I invest my time, energy, and attention only in activities that build wealth. 7. I govern my emotions, my speech, and my responses with wisdom and self-control. 8. I learn from every setback and apply those lessons to create greater success. 9. I deserve wealth because I create value that improves the lives of others. 10. I am building systematic wealth that will benefit my family for generations. 11. I command my destiny through the power of focused thought and persistent action. Speak each line 3 times with increasing intensity. Feel the truth of each declaration penetrate your subconscious mind. See yourself already living the reality these words describe. This is not pretense, this is programming. You are installing new operating instructions into the most powerful computer you will ever own, your subconscious mind. Asterisk, asterisk, the 306090-day wealth ritual, asterisk, asterisk. This systematic approach converts your declarations into measurable wealth over 90 days, asterisk, asterisk, days 1 to 30. Foundation building, asterisk, asterisk. Every morning, complete your 11 mirror declarations, followed by writing your definite chief aim by hand. Read it aloud 3 times with emotion. Spend exactly 30 minutes on one income-generating activity. Every evening, review your progress and plan tomorrow's priority action. Measure and record all results. Track your consistency on a calendar. Goal: establish unbreakable daily rhythm and generate your first systematic income, regardless of amount. Asterisk, asterisk. Days 31 to 60. Momentum creation, asterisk, asterisk. Continue your morning and evening rituals without exception. Add weekly mastermind meetings with your alliance of 3 to 5 committed individuals. Begin implementing systematic improvements based on your first 30 days of measurement. Focus on optimizing what's working rather than starting new experiments. Goal: double your income-generating capacity through systematic improvement and alliance multiplication. Asterisk, asterisk. Days 61 to 90. Acceleration and scale. Asterisk, asterisk. Maintain all previous practices while adding monthly strategic reviews and planning sessions. Begin reinvesting a percentage of your generated income into tools, education, or systems that multiply your capacity. Start building passive or leveraged income streams based on what you've proven works systematically. Goal: create sustainable wealth-building systems that generate income with decreasing time investment. This 90-day cycle becomes your template for continuous wealth building. Every 90 days, you audit your progress, refine your systems, and scale your proven successes. Over time, this systematic approach creates compound growth that transforms modest beginnings into substantial wealth. But let me address the final enemies that can sabotage your progress even after you begin implementing these principles. Overcoming the final enemies of wealth. The first enemy is the voice that says, "I don't have time for these rituals." This voice belongs to the man who will never have time for wealth. The wealthy man makes time for wealth-building activities by eliminating time-wasting activities. He watches less television, spends less time on social media, engages in less gossip, attends fewer social events that produce no value. He trades entertainment for advancement, distraction for focus, comfort for growth. You have the same 24 hours as every wealthy person in history. The difference is how you choose to invest those hours. The second enemy is the voice that says, "I don't have the support of my family or friends." This voice reveals a misunderstanding of how influence works. You do not need their support to begin. You need their support to sustain. And their support follows your results, not your intentions. When they see your systematic progress, your increasing income, your growing confidence, their skepticism will transform into respect. But you must create the results first. Success is the most persuasive argument. The third enemy is the voice that says, "This seems too simple to work." Simplicity is not the enemy of effectiveness, it is the hallmark of truth. Complex strategies confuse the mind and paralyze action. Simple strategies clarify the mind and inspire action. Every wealthy person I have studied succeeded by mastering simple principles and applying them consistently. The power is not in the complexity of the method, but in the consistency of the application. The fourth enemy is the voice that says, "I've tried similar things before and they didn't work." Past failure is not predictor of future results when you apply different methods. You may have tried motivation without method, effort without system, hope without habit, but you have never tried the complete systematic approach I have outlined. Definite purpose, applied faith, systematic proof, Mastermind Alliance, ritual work, and self-governance, all working together as one integrated system. This comprehensive approach succeeds where partial approaches fail. The fifth enemy is the voice that says, "I'm too old to start over." Age is an advantage, not an obstacle, when properly understood. Your years have given you experience, judgment, perspective, and patience that younger people lack. These are assets in wealth building. Colonel Sanders was 65 when he built Kentucky Fried Chicken into a fortune. Laura Ingalls Wilder was 64 when she wrote her first Little House book and began generating substantial income from her writing. Grandma Moses was 78 when she began painting and creating the art that made her wealthy. Your age is not a limitation. Your belief about your age is the limitation. The sixth enemy is the voice that says, I don't have enough education or credentials. Education is valuable, but applied knowledge is more valuable than academic credentials. Henry Ford had little formal education, but created one of the largest fortunes in history by applying practical knowledge systematically. Many college graduates work for high school graduates who built businesses instead of pursuing degrees. Your lack of formal education may actually be an advantage because you haven't been trained to overthink and underact. You can move quickly where others hesitate. Now, let me give you the truth that eliminates all these enemies at once. You don't need perfect conditions to begin building wealth. You need only the willingness to begin where you are, with what you have, using what you know. Perfect conditions never arrive. Perfect timing never exists. Perfect preparation never ends. The man who waits for perfect conditions never starts. The man who starts with imperfect conditions often finishes wealthy. But there is one final enemy more dangerous than all the others combined: the temptation to modify the system before you've proven it works. You will be tempted to skip the morning declarations because they feel uncomfortable. You will want to change the timing because it doesn't fit your schedule. You will consider modifying the measurements because they seem too detailed. Resist every temptation to alter the system until you have implemented it exactly as designed for 90 consecutive days. Why this insistence on exact implementation? Because the system works as a complete unit. Each element supports and strengthens the others. Remove one component, and you weaken the whole structure. Modify one practice, and you may eliminate the very element that would have created your breakthrough. Follow the system precisely, measure the results accurately, and then make adjustments based on evidence, not preferences. Remember the words of Thomas Edison: there's a way to do it better, find it. But first, you must do it the proven way until you understand why it works. Then you can improve upon proven principles. But improvement without foundation leads to collapse. Number, closing movement. Your declaration of financial independence. You have now received the complete system that has created more wealth than any other method in human history. You understand the 6 movements of transformation: definite purpose that directs your mental energy, applied faith that converts thought into conviction, systematic proof that builds unshakable confidence, Mastermind Alliance that multiplies your intelligence and resources, ritual work that creates wealth-building momentum, and self-governance that develops the inner authority that external wealth obeys. You possess the 11 mirror lines that program your subconscious mind for wealth attraction. You have the 306090-day ritual that systematically converts declarations into bank deposits. You know how to overcome the enemies that have stopped others before they could succeed. The knowledge is yours. The system is complete. The only missing element is your decision to begin. But knowledge without action remains powerless. Understanding without implementation creates nothing. Wisdom without application produces no results. The most sophisticated system in the world cannot create wealth for the man who does not use it. Your transformation begins not when you finish listening to these words, but when you take the first action they prescribe. This is your moment of decision. You can return to the life you were living before you received this knowledge, the life of hoping and wishing and waiting for external circumstances to change. Or you can begin immediately to apply these principles and create the circumstances you desire through systematic thought and persistent action. The choice is yours, but the choice is also urgent. Every day you delay implementing this system is a day of potential wealth creation lost forever. You cannot reclaim yesterday's opportunities, but you can seize today's possibilities. The universe is offering you the keys to financial freedom. Will you accept them and use them, or will you return them unused and remain where you are? I have given you the same principles that created the fortunes of Carnegie, Ford, Rockefeller, Edison, and thousands of others who transformed themselves from ordinary circumstances into extraordinary wealth. These principles are not theory. They are proven law. They work for anyone who works them. They will work for you if you will work them. But they require more than casual attention. They demand total commitment. They insist on consistent application. They reward only those who persist through temporary setbacks until permanent success is achieved. Are you prepared to make that commitment? Are you ready to become the systematic creator of your own wealth rather than the passive victim of your circumstances? Then stand now, wherever you are, and speak this oath with the full power of your voice and the complete conviction of your heart. Asterisk, asterisk, the oath of financial transformation. Asterisk, asterisk. I am no longer a servant to financial limitation. I am the master of my economic destiny. I refuse to accept poverty, struggle, or dependency as my permanent condition. I was born to create wealth, to build value, to serve others through my unique abilities, and to be richly compensated for that service. I declare my definite chief aim with clarity and conviction. I will earn the specific amount of wealth I have written by the definite date I have established through the systematic application of value-creating service. I believe this goal is not only possible but inevitable, because I am committed to the daily practices that make it real. I embrace the faith that converts thought into reality. I speak my wealth declarations with emotion and conviction every morning. I visualize my success with feeling and certainty every night. I act with the confidence of a man who already possesses what he seeks, because I understand that external circumstances must eventually match internal conviction. I commit to systematic proof of my growing competence. I will create one income-generating experiment every week. I will measure every result. I will improve every process. I will build evidence of my power to create wealth on demand until that power becomes unquestionable. I form alliances with minds that support my vision. I contribute to the success of others who share my commitment to growth. I receive wisdom from those who have succeeded before me. I multiply my intelligence through harmonious cooperation with like-minded individuals. I establish daily rituals that create wealth while I sleep. I rise early to program my mind for success. I work systematically to generate measurable results. I review constantly to ensure continuous improvement. I commit to consistency over perfection, progress over procrastination, action over analysis. I govern myself with the wisdom that wealth rewards. I control my emotions, my speech, my decisions. I choose strategic action over impulsive reaction. I burn bridges that lead away from my goal. I maintain focus on my objectives despite temporary setbacks or external criticism. I reject every voice that counsels delay, doubt, or dependency. I refuse to accept limitation as permanent or poverty as deserved. I will not be satisfied with surviving when I was meant to thrive. I will not settle for security when I was designed for abundance. This is my oath, my commitment, my declaration of independence from financial limitation. I speak it with complete conviction. I live it with total commitment. I prove it through persistent action. My wealth is not a dream deferred. It is a reality in progress. It begins today. It begins now. It begins with me. Number your 24-hour command. You have received the complete system. You have spoken the oath of transformation. Now comes the test that separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Immediate action in the face of uncertainty. Before 24 hours pass from this moment, you will complete these 3 actions. Asterisk, asterisk. First, asterisk, asterisk. You will write your definite chief aim in one clear sentence. Not think about it, not plan to write it, but physically write it by hand on paper. You will state the exact amount of wealth you intend to accumulate, the specific date by which you will possess it, and the service you will render in exchange for this wealth. You will read this statement aloud 3 times and feel the reality of its achievement. Asterisk, asterisk. Second, asterisk, asterisk. You will create a 30-second audio recording of yourself, speaking your definite chief aim with emotion and conviction. You will listen to this recording immediately after creating it. This recording becomes your daily accountability partner, ensuring that you speak your goal with the same intensity every morning. The sound of your own voice declaring your intention will program your subconscious more powerfully than silent reading. Asterisk, asterisk. Third, asterisk, asterisk. You will execute your first income-generating experiment before midnight today. This might be offering a service, creating a simple product, teaching someone a valuable skill, solving a problem for payment, or any other action that tests your ability to convert value into money. The amount you earn matters less than the fact that you prove to yourself that you can systematically create income on demand. These 3 actions must be completed within 24 hours because delay is the enemy of commitment. Every hour you postpone action weakens your resolve. Every excuse you accept reduces your power. Every delay makes the next delay easier to justify. But completion of these 3 actions within 24 hours creates unstoppable momentum. You prove to yourself that you are no longer a person who thinks about wealth but never acts to create it. You become a person who converts knowledge into action, intention into results, dreams into measurable progress. 24 hours from now, you will be either the same person who began listening to this message, hoping that someone else will change your circumstances, or you will be a different person who has taken the first 3 steps towards systematic wealth creation. The difference between these 2 people is not talent, not opportunity, not luck. It is decision followed by immediate action. Your future self is waiting to thank you for the decision you make right now. Your bank account is waiting to reflect the systematic value creation you begin today. Your family is waiting to benefit from the wealth you start building immediately. The world is waiting for the service you will provide once you have the resources to serve at your highest level. The knowledge has been given. The system has been revealed. The oath has been spoken. The only question remaining is this: will you act or will you remain where you are? I believe you will act. I believe you were meant to build wealth. I believe this message found you at exactly the right moment to begin your transformation from financial limitation to financial abundance. I believe your success is not just possible, but inevitable if you apply these principles with the consistency and conviction they demand. Your journey to wealth begins now. Your systematic success starts today. Your declaration of financial independence becomes reality through the actions you take in the next 24 hours. Go now. Write your definite chief aim. Record your commitment. Execute your first experiment. Prove to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer a servant of circumstances, but the master of your financial destiny. The world is waiting for what you will build. Your wealth is waiting for you to claim it. Your future is waiting for you to create it. Begin now. Act now. Succeed now. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your beginning. Make it count.